Hey, hello everyone, and welcome to Shooting the Shiznit. It's Thursday, live from STS Studios in St. Louis, Missouri. This is episode 36, and we're doing our special edition, and this week it is the Cool Kids Countdown. Hey, I want to big shout out about big thank you when I first came back to doing this podcast and everyone sees it season 3. Well, we did season 1 and 2 many moons ago. I came back and my goal was to do at least 36 episodes by the end of the year. Well, I think we have. And I thank everyone for the downloads. I thank all my guests. I want to thank Lance LeVine, who's been tremendous helping me with the Cool Kids Countdown show, and also Who Wants to Be the Best Shiznitter Ever. He helps with questions there. Been a great co-host and a good friend, and all you guys that come on the show and all you guys that download it and send me inboxes. Jamie Ward, he does it every time, and I do appreciate it. Okay, so we're going to do a few plugs here, and then we're going to get right to the show. I want you to go to tinyurl.com/STSPod merch. There you can get Dr. X shirt, you can get a Shooting the Shiznit shirt, you can get a Cool Kids Wrestling and MMA Talk shirt. That's right, we have a Cool Kids Wrestling and MMA Talk Facebook group. That's an official group for this podcast, but it's private because we're not politically correct and just not PG either. So if you want to join, you have to ask to join. Follow me on Twitter at comicbookmarkbt. Also, you can go to stspod.club. That's www.stspod.club, and you'll see all the old episodes. Some videos up. Everyone that said they loved the Golden Boy, the second interview with the Golden Boy, thank you very much. I've got a Golden Boy match up there with Brian Kendrick that you guys can actually watch. I want to plug Suplex City Limits, who had Lance LeVine on this week, my old buddy JoJo at Credo Control, and I'm going to put over somebody else here, Keeping It 100. That's Conan's show. A new favorite of mine. If you haven't listened to it, listen to it. Now, let's get down to the countdown.
And she says, I wish that I could be like the cool kids, 'cause all the cool kids, they seem to fit in. I wish that I could be like the cool kids.
Hey, I want to bring Lance. Lance, come on out of the green room. You can come in here and sit across from me in imaginary land of podcasting, live from St. Louis, Missouri, and Chicago, Illinois. I bring you me and my co-host, Lance LeVine. How's it going, Lance?
Hey, it's the Antichrist Lance LeVine. You know this by now.
No, I love calling you #cunt because that's you are the biggest fucking shit stir there ever was, and Lance, that's why I love you.
So that
we both love Tom Nash, but yeah, we just for some reason, and I don't understand why. I mean, other podcasters, let's put it that way, other podcasters, well, they don't like you. They don't like me neither, but they don't like you really. So here's what I'm going to say, all right? There are, and I usually thank everyone for listening to us. I really do. You know how I am. Thank you. And I appreciate it. Guys, if you don't like my podcast and you don't like Lance, number one, fuck you. And number two, don't listen to it. That's all you got to do is not listen to us. Okay, that's all.
Are there any other podcasts that they could listen to instead of us if they don't like us?
Well, yeah, we got Suplex City Limits. You did Suplex City Limits this week, and fantastic job. Big 2 thumbs up. Always a fun ride with those guys, and it was, and me knowing your sense of humor, I think it all came off good. You guys, you had 2 high and 1 non-high, so
One straight edge and Cheech and Chong. So I want to definitely thank Jim and Tyler for guesting on Suplex City Limits. It was a hell of a good time. So if you guys haven't listened to that yet, be sure and check that out if you have 3 hours to kill.
That's right, 3 hours.
STS Auxiliary Studios North in Chicago, where it is pouring rain. So hopefully the sound isn't too bad today.
Right on. So what we're going to do right now is we're going to make it so it's, sometimes I have those little bitty supersized when they go 37 or 38 minutes. And so, oh my God, I think I had a 41-minute one too. But let's try to make it, we're going to go to the top 10. Now, everyone likes to talk about whether favorite this, favorite that. We've done it here. We just sat down and Lance said, hey, let's just do promotions. Let's just talk about what's going on now. There's so many indie stuff going on. So right now, tonight, today, whenever you're listening to it, before 2 o'clock on Thursdays, a special edition of Shooting the Shiznit, we're going to talk about the top 10 promotions of 2017. And it's not going to be who's making the most money, who's drawing the most biggest crowds. This is what we like. This is what we're going to pick. If we had to sit down and say, this is what we're going to do and it's what we're going to watch, this is how we're going to watch wrestling in 2017. Maybe we'll do one of these in 2018 also. So let's get started, Lance.
So what we did was we both ranked our top 10, and then I averaged out the scores to see, would we have a consensus? Did we have a lot of disagreement? So I don't know. Did you use any special criteria? Because what I ranked mine on, I used 3 criteria. I used in-ring was obviously number 1. I used business acumen was my number 2, and also accessibility of products. So those were the 3 categories that I kind of looked at. So it wasn't just all about in-ring for me. So did you?
Awesome. It was
anything
mainly
up?
what I wanted. Yeah, mine was just, this is what I like to watch. This is how I rank it. If I'm going to pick the 10th one, it's going to be this. If I'm going all the way up and we get, the top 3, if I had 3 promotions I was going to put to the side and just watch those 3 promotions, you'll see what 3 of those go. That's the way I looked at it. And it kind of fits with yours too, yeah.
Okay. So the one thing I noticed as I was looking through the notes today was that we didn't have anything British. So maybe next year, like you said, maybe next year if we will see if any of the British ones crack the top 10 for us. I mean, for me, bottom line is that's one of those time constraints. I just, you only have so much time in the day. So there's not a whole lot of it. As much as the British stuff gets such good press, I just don't have enough time to watch it. So we'll get this going. And at number 10, as you'll see, we had to condense some of them as it is. So at number 10, we put the Lucha Libre groups, Crash, AAA, and CMLL all together as one.
Yeah, I mean, I think we did this, but one thing, we just make it really easy for us. I'm not a huge Lucha fan. I went out of my way to watch some of the Crash stuff that I see, and every once in a while, I do watch CMLL. I almost said SMLL. That would have got something different there, but I try my best to watch the big matches. AAA kind of turned me off the last couple of big pay-per-views they've had. It's just been so, not being a super Lucha fan, then this is the reason why I kind of felt like Lucha was 10. The thing I do like about Lucha, and I know he gets a bad rap, is Conan, and the thing that he has created and always been able, him and Vampiro both seem to be invincible in Mexico, in the sense that if he works for AAA 1 year, 2 years down the line, he's not working for him, and then he goes back to this, does this, and Conan is back to doing Crash now, a new thing, and then you got Vampiro back with AAA, and it just it's interesting. Those two make life interesting. I think Conan's one of the most I know a lot of fans out there for him, but I hear a lot of criticism also. Very creative, and, I like his podcast, and I like the producer, JoJo, also. So there you go.
JoJo. So, well, for me, AAA, they're all just so shady. I mean, I like you said, I don't have a problem with Lucha Libre. I actually like Lucha Libre. I really love Volador Jr. is one of my favorite wrestlers in the world. I never did get to see Volador Sr. I don't know how he was, but anyway. But the businesses of all the Mexican groups, for whatever reason, they just come across so shady. As great as some of the stuff is in the ring, they just seem like the wrestling equivalent of like the dope dealer on the corner, because there's always some dirty stories coming out about these promotions and just such underhanded stuff that's going on. That was Maximo Sexy. Was that the guy's name? I know you were a big fan of his, but he was like one of the title holders in CMLL, and he got fired because there was that surveillance film of the bunch of guys getting together and destroying the other guy's car because there was some kind of union controversy. So I don't know. It's just a really shady business dealings with them. The CML TV is the only one that I really get a chance to see. and the product is just so inconsistent. Sometimes it'll be a show that's like 2 years old. Sometimes it'll be an hour. Sometimes it'll be 90 minutes. It's just really inconsistent. It can be a tough watch, although some of the matches are outstanding. So that's why we have them at number 10. So at number 9, we have TNA/Global Force.
I mean, I was one of those guys, and you still watch it on a regular basis. I watched the pay-per-view. Hadn't really watched the show regularly in probably 6 or 7 weeks now. The ratings seem to be going up, which is a good thing. They're not doing anything I want to watch, and it goes back to that time. If they're not doing anything I don't want to really see, then I'm going to pick some of these other promotions ahead of them. I'm glad they exist. I wish that they, and I hate people say, I wish they would die, blah, blah, blah. I hate that. They don't understand how important it is to have an alternative for fans to watch. And you know, not that many people watching it, but hey, it is an alternative. And I think that I really would love to see them get back either, you know, on Spike or something like that and be able to spend a little bit of money and get some more of these guys. I don't know, you know, it just seems like a repeat of Jarrett. I'm a big, huge Jarrett fan, but I just don't know if he is going to be the savior this time, this crew that they're using, even though it's slowly creeping up. If we're talking a year from now and they're getting close to 1 million viewers, you know, they're going to be doing something right. So maybe they'll move up on the list.
I mentioned that one of the categories I was looking at here was business acumen. And obviously TNA, and I'm going to continue to call them TNA because I don't give a shit. TNA ranks at the very bottom of the barrel as far as business acumen over the years. It's just been awful. So the product's been good. The product's been average. The product's gone back up again. It's dipped again. It's just very inconsistent. There'll be eras where it's great, like AJ Styles and Samoa Joe. There's been great talent there over the years. And there's still, to this day, Lashley. There's great EC3. There's great Rosemary. There's great talent there now. They can definitely do something. So as far as the product goes, it's always been accessible. It's always been on a network that I have access to, whether it was Spike, like you said, Pop now, Destination America, or whatever they've been on. They've been all over the place. So they need to stabilize. They need to start growing. They need to get their shit together. And I mean, it sounds like a broken record because we've been saying that for probably the better part of the last 10 years. So they just have got to get their shit under control and bring in a savior. And like you said, I think Jarrett's been there, done that so many times now that I don't know that he's the one. But like the Cubs showed last year, after 108 years of frustration, it can be done. If they bring in the right guy, if they can find the wrestling version of Theo Epstein, I think it can be done. So TNA ranks at number 9 for us. At number 8, we have Evolve.
Okay. Number 1, this is not John McAdams Pro Wrestling and Whatever podcast, okay? This Chicago Cubs bullshit. I have no idea what you're talking about. No, and I'm not sending you any coffee, and if I do, it's going to be shitty kind. Let me see. Evolve, number 8. No baseball bets on this podcast, guys. You know what? I haven't seen a lot of this stuff. I really haven't. But what I've seen is just, I mean, Chris Hero was doing a lot of his stuff there. All the stuff was just so good. 2 other names, Keith Lee, go out and see that this is the guy of the future. Matt Riddle, guy of the future. Those 2 guys right there, and that's what we're going to say about a few of these other promotions coming up. But this is also, a breeding ground for WWE. Unfortunately, I've discussed that over and over in the group today. But we do now have, before you go to NXT, they're going to be looking at you to Evolve. And if you have another alternative promotion and you want to see stars of the future and you want to see great talent and the way matches are done on the indie, go to Gabe and watch Evolve.
I'll say all they have is their in-ring, but their in-ring is amazing. You know what? Like you said, what little I've seen, same thing. It's been just off the charts, great. They're not accessible at all for me. I know they're on Flow Slam, but again, it's a time issue. And you know what? There's probably a lot of great stuff on Flow Slam, but I think if I'm not mistaken, it costs like twice as much as WWE Network. So in addition to all the costs involved to get their stuff even above and beyond WWE and New Japan, It's a matter of finding time to watch this stuff. So as far as their business sense goes, they're okay. I think they do a great job with the hand they're dealt. And like you referenced, they're always losing their top guys. So they do good stuff on TV, and if they're content with where they're at as far as a business goes and their business model, then more power to them. If they can get, I'm sure if they could get on a regular TV type deal, I'm sure they'd be happy to. But I think as far as what they do, the lot in life that they have, they're very good at what they do, but they just have to be content with the fact that, like you said, they're always going to be the breeding ground for the bigger quote unquote promotions. So at number 7, we've kind of lumped together the Midwest Indies. So we've put together Freelance, Glory Pro, and AAW.
And this is going to be me and you you talking more about this, about Freelance, because this is the shows you go to. I go to Glory Pro, or I am doing everything I can do to support Glory Pro. AAW is our old buddy Prazak has something to do with that. He does the announcing, and it's another one of those promotions that all three of those promotions going balls to the walls. It's a total different. And I was watching the first part of the latest Glory Pro, and as I said, if I don't go to the show, I actually buy the download and watch it at home. No other promotion I'm doing that, but it's and I noticed I'm sitting here watching this, and I'm thinking to myself, these matches, I'm giving 4 stars to, or giving 3 stars, 3/4, 3/8 of a ninth. No, but these are matches that I'm enjoying so much more as a fan than I do. Just and that's where WWE's at 5 for a reason, because I know I just spoiled it, but they are up above because
alert. Spoiler
I know
alert.
it. Because they're one of the top promotions. Guys, if you don't watch indie wrestling and just watch the biggers, these are the 3 promotions to check out, and watch one of these 3 promotions, because they'll give you the new understanding or make you feel like you're a wrestling fan again.
So yeah, I called these the King of the Midwest Indies. For me, like you said, Freelance is quote unquote home promotion because they're based in Chicago, and I'm lucky enough that they run monthly, and I get to go to a monthly. In ring is outstanding. It's very good, but it's primarily a house show business and DVDs. That's it. So again, from an exposure standpoint, from an accessibility standpoint, not so strong, because they don't have it in their budget, I guess, to get TV. At one point, they did actually have a half-hour show on a UHF channel at about 2:30 a.m. on Saturday night, and that ran for about 2 months. So that was the closest thing. I'm sure at that time they probably had about 50 people watching, which unfortunately not the kind of exposure they needed. But the in-ring is outstanding. They really need to expand. They do bring in a big name now and then from out of town, but it's based around the core local guys that are all very good. They book very old school, so the angles and such, they're not Jason Jordan is Kurt Angle's son type angles. They're just very old school angles that are built months and months in advance, and they develop, and I think it's got a great old school feel to it, and I think if they had exposure, they would be a big deal. They could literally own Chicago if they had a better streaming or TV deal of any sort. AAW just briefly has great house shows as well. I've gotten to a couple of their shows, also a lot of fun. They also bring in a few more big names. And as far as Glory Pro, you said your piece on it, rookie promotion for me, so it'll be fun to watch them expand and grow in the future. So at number 6, we have Lucha Underground.
Lucha Underground, and the reason it's number 6, the thing about this promotion is different than anything else on our list. Completely different. So if you guys are tired of the regular professional wrestling, this is where you go. Lucha Underground has its own little stories. I've seen a guy shoot up in the sky. I've seen people die. I've seen totally something different. Lucha Underground is not for everyone. If you don't want to watch the storylines and have an open mind about the in-ring and what's going on inside the ring, and you can watch. This is my favorite balls to the wall saying about this kind of style. I'm out of whack with them. I'm really behind, but every time that you, Lance, come and say, hey, go out of your way to see this, or oh my God, blah, 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 I just go and watch that match and not really caught up on the storylines. But when you watch that talent and how they just the talent in the first couple of seasons and what they've done, after the show, and how much that they get work now in the States and everything. Guys, Lucha Underground is probably not for everyone, and we don't even know whether it will exist anymore. But if you have a chance, watch the first couple of seasons on Netflix. If it's only just to watch the wrestling part.
I recently saw the Spider-Man Homecoming movie, and I was told that was not a real story either. That was also not true. So. And it didn't hurt my enjoyment of the movie. I saw that Guardians of the Galaxy 2 a couple months ago. I heard that wasn't a true story, and it didn't hurt my enjoyment of the movie either. So the people that complain about Lucha Underground not being realistic, I mean, come on, it's wrestling. Let it go. Watch it and enjoy it. I honestly, when I was talking about what the criteria I used here, I have them tied for first on my in-ring, how much I enjoy the in-ring. I think I mentioned on Suplex City Limits that they tape the show so far in advance, and they have the luxury of editing those matches together and making them fantastic. But the bottom line is there's fantastic material there to work with. I love the presentation of that show, the gritty shithole where it's filmed. I love the vignettes, the backstage stuff. As far as their business sense, it's awful, period, terrible. They're always walking on eggshells as far as whether they're even going to exist again 6 months from now. Those ridiculous contracts that the talent is always complaining about, and the 7-year contracts and so on. So their business acumen, not so hot. Their accessibility also needs vast improvement. Why they're not on a Spanish-speaking station like one of the real big Spanish-speaking stations is beyond me. They really need to be out there exposing themselves to much more eyeballs because the product is outstanding. I love Lucha Underground.
All right. Hey, we're going to take a quick commercial break, and we're going to be right back with, I've already spoiled, number 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1 here in just a few moments. Hey guys and gals, I hope you're enjoying this week's special edition of Shooting The Shiznit. And remember though, on Tuesdays before 2 o'clock, you will get the original Shooting The Shiznit, where I sit across the table from someone either I've known for years or I want to get to know. So remember, before 2 o'clock, every Tuesday, Shooting The Shiznit, live from St. Louis, Missouri, STS Studios. The best little wrestling podcast in the business!
And she says, I wish that I could be like the cool kids, 'cause all the cool kids, they seem to fit in. I wish that I could be like the cool kids.
Alright, we're back. We got 5 more. Give them to me, Lance.
All right, at number 5 is probably a shocker that you've already ruined for us, but it's WWE at number 5.
Sorry about that, spoiler. I'm the one that's the worst when it comes to hate spoilers. But let me tell you, I wrote something and it was part of what Tom Reese said. Go to Cool Kids Wrestling and MMA group on Facebook. You guys can ask to come in, and we'll let you in. If you're an asshole, we'll kick you out. But that's the way Tom was talking about WWE, and that's the reason why I still watch it and still keep up with it, but not what I did maybe, even 2 months ago. And I think the reason I like all this other wrestling better, or that I watch all this other stuff also, is because of WWE, the style. There's a WWE style. It's almost like basic psychology, and me and Chase Owens talked about this on Shooting The Shiznit, and which all you do is, the babyface gets a shine, the heel takes over, takes on, does heat, you get comebacks, babyface, if it's a tag team match, hot tag, cut them off, another hot tag, you do double heat. It's just same format, and that's what's really tired me of the WWE. But if you're going to be a wrestling fan and want to know what's going on everywhere, they got to at least be in your top 5, and they are the number 1 company in the world.
So this is the one that we disagreed the furthest on. You had them ranked when you first did your top 10. You had them at number 7. I had them at number 2. When we're looking at the whole group as a whole, we're looking at the main roster. We're looking at NXT, the British group, 205 Live, all of it. So I I had him number 2 based on the accessibility of the product, because obviously it's second to none. You have full accessibility, very easy to watch the product, whether it's on regular TV or the network, as well as their business sense. Let's face it, they're a multi-billion-dollar company. In 2017, they are the only game in town. They are by far and away the number 1 promotion in the world, let alone the States. And there's enough good in-ring to make it a watchable product. Believe me, there's enough crap that sucks, don't get me wrong. Every Monday night, there's probably about a 90-minute stretch that we're just bemoaning the fact that we're watching it. But I think that they are Major League, whether you like it or not. The takeovers are always great shows. The British tournament was fantastic. Cruiserweight Classic was fantastic. I'm sure the Mae Young thing is going to be great. Most of the big shows are solid. Not all. Some of them suck. But most of them are very good. Some of the big shows are awesome. So I would say WWE, like I said, I had them at number 2 based on most of the fact that they're the most accessible group to watch if you're going to be a fan, as well as the business sense, the fact that they're such a huge company and there's nobody that can even touch them these days. And the in-ring is good enough for me to keep them at the number 2 spot. So they're number 5, and now at number 3 we have a tie. So this is number 3 and 3A, I guess. So at number 3, we're starting off with Ring of Honor.
Okay. I've been a huge Ring of Honor fan in the sense that not a huge Ring of Honor fan in the sense that I never watched TV on a regular basis for years and tried to go out of my way to watch their pay-per-views. And it has kind of changed. I'm pretty much caught up on the Ring of Honor television. They have some of the best talent available. Their television's not as good when it comes to storylines, and sometimes they get so mixed up about, you run an angle with the heels, the Bucks, and they're getting, the biggest cheers ever, so it's kind of confusing when it does that. But the talent in the matches, I'm a huge Jay Lethal fan, Young Bucks, and the rosters just has always been, from up and down, one of the best rosters there is. So this is one of those promotions that I'm going to watch, that I spend time watching. I still do, and that's why it got such a high rating for me.
I would say ups and downs over the years. The one consistent thing has been great in-ring product for the most part over the years that they've been around, I think 15 years or so now. In many ways, they are NXT. And I mean, in the last 5 years or so, they've become the WWE farm system. So who would have thought, 10 years ago, the top stars in Ring of Honor would be the top echelon stars of WWE these days. So they have lost a lot of talent over the years, but they've managed to continually replace it and keep it going as strong as ever. Most of their house shows, they used to come to Chicago probably 3 times, maybe 3 or 4 times a year, and they were always phenomenal shows. Now they're down to maybe once or twice a year. Still very good shows. So I love going to their shows. Like you said, the TV can be a rough go at sometimes, but the pay-per-views are always pretty consistently good. Business is improving under Sinclair. They're doing better in their house shows than they've ever done in their history. And hopefully with this new relationship with WGN, they'll be on in more markets and more major markets nationwide. So I think the biggest challenge for ROH right now is to keep the talent going forward, to establish the fact that they are Major League and possibly get in the foothold as being the number 2 promotion in the country, because the door is open for that to happen. And I think they can, if they can manage to convince the talent to stay there, I think they'll have a much better shot at growing even faster. So tied at number 3, and this is probably the most shocking high-placing promotion, we have Shimmer.
I think we both felt the same way if this was going to be partially because if I was going to choose, and you'll see the top 3 here, I'm not going to spoil those, but this would be one of them. I mean, number one, it's girls fighting each other. I mean, I want to be a sexist pig anyway. I mean, but the thing about it is, a couple of things about Shimmer, and I told this to Praise I've never downloaded a bootleg Shimmer DVD because it was him, and it's one of those things where you want everyone to get behind and support, and he's continuously made a great product. If you watch a Shimmer show and you've been to 3 or 4 tapings, which you have to sit through 3 days each time, the product is above standard of other wrestling promotions. And if you look at the roster, it seems like they got all the girls from Shimmer. Apparently, the coming up Mae Young tournament has a ton of girls there, and Prezak was even there. We're going to have to bring him on and talk about that. But it's just one of those promotions which, if I had to choose, that's what I would watch along with the other two that we talk about.
Again, like I said, it was shocking to me when we put the list together that how high they placed. And I think for me, it was the in-ring is just excellent. Like you said, I'm fortunate enough that they're pretty much based out of Chicago. They tape here. It's a 3-day weekend, basically, and they tape here twice a year. So I've been to probably about 5 weekends of them now. In-ring, just excellent. Just really, really entertaining. Some of these girls are just every bit as good as the guys. From a business sense, I'm not going to say they run it on a shoestring budget, but they make it work. Somehow they make it work. As far as their accessibility, again, they're exclusively DVD. And honestly, they have become the WWE minor league as well. So they've become, again, like the AA version of a minor league feeder system for WWE as far as the women's talent goes. What I would love to see happen, and this could be a stretch, but I was thinking about this Glow show on Netflix is getting a lot of play. So who knows? Maybe women's wrestling could be on the verge of a big blow up as far as exposure goes. So if some network somewhere, which we know that it's possible that a number 2 could emerge behind WWE, if somebody wants to take a chance on women's wrestling, I could see Shimmer as being a promotion that could totally take off. So at number 2, and this one could be considered a little bit of a surprise as far as how high it's placing, but at number 2 we have PWG.
Well, I wanted to say PWG because I wanted to be one of the cool kids. I really did. I want to be. Really, the reason I put it, and I've seen, and people go say, "Oh, he's only saying this because it's the in promotion." I've only seen probably about 12 of their shows, and why are they so high? Because their shows have been so freaking entertaining in the sense that if I had the time, and I probably will, after looking through this list, I should be watching those promotions instead of wasting my time on other stuff probably. But that PWG has one of the best rosters and have their own unique crowd that yells the things they should be yelling. If the match is awesome, then they are chanting it's awesome. If it's not awesome, then they shit on them. So, and the crowd's just rowdy. I mean, you're looking at, what is it, close to 400 people, and they all got these pitchers of beer, and they're all just, moving out of the way when guys are jumping out of the ring, and they do stuff that no other promotion does. I think they paved the way for some, like Glory Pro and AAW, in the sense that to use bigger names, do bigger things, and do a different style. So we went with PWG at number 2.
I am saying to myself as I'm looking at the list, how could they be number 2? They're exclusively 100% a DVD promotion and live event promotion. And like you said, the place that they play in the little dump in LA that they play in, holds 400 people or whatever, and it sells out in a minute. And they never stream it live. They only do the DVDs after the fact. They are the best in-ring promotion in the States. That's all there is to it. That's the bottom line. And that's why we ranked them as high as we did, because they're so much fun to watch. What I've seen has been pretty much the Battles of Los Angeles for the last couple of years, and I've got some random other DVDs that I've watched that are always amazing. So in terms of their business sense, extremely rough. If it was me, I would be putting that stuff on, at least streaming the main shows. They run monthly or every 6 weeks or so. At least stream those shows. My God, they could be making a killing on that just based on the coolness factor of how hot and how underground popular the product is right now. But they don't want to risk the coolness factor. That's the thing. As far as accessibility goes, you can buy the DVDs. I'm sure you could probably upload something or download something online if you want to watch it. But like you said, they have all the best talent. All the best indie guys want to be there. It's the hottest game in town, and I would love to see them just look outside the box a little bit as far as their business model goes and expose themselves to other eyeballs, because they could certainly make a whole lot of money and strike while the metal's hot right now. So at number 2, PWG, and that leaves probably the easiest pick for number one for our top 10 promotions in 2017 is New Japan.
Well, I mean, why not, you know? You just got to see from just say this year, start January on, the hot in the ring, the best may go down as one of the best years ever. Not only when it comes to New Japan, there's been huge history of New Japan matches, but it's almost like every match you watch with the top guys. They're, I give them either 4 stars or 5 stars. I'm giving them 4.5. I'm giving them, Elgin's had a great year. Okada's had a great year. Omega's had a great year. You just keep naming these guys and how they provide. And believe me, without I listen to the Japanese shows, the New Japan World. I actually listen to them in Spanish. No, I'm just kidding. I listen to them I have U.S. commentary. I think it's added tons to the show for me. I like Kevin Kelly, and I like whatever the other guy's name. I can't even remember his name right up.
Don Callis.
Yes.
The Puro brothers are going to be mad at you over that. Don Callis.
Yeah, I know it. I like both of those guys, and I like the idea of being able to hear the storylines. They know the storylines, and they put them over. They did a fantastic job, coming to America and doing well. I wish them the best of luck. They're probably way behind when it comes to promotions in the world, but when it comes to me, New Japan is number one right now.
This one was very easy. There were a handful of these that we literally agreed on placement in the top 10, but we both agreed that this was number one. No dispute. Absolutely the best in the ring. And to your point, this year, last year, the year before that, I started watching it hardcore about 3 years ago with the New Japan Network. Honestly, the second half of the shows are so above and beyond anything that you'll see, like the guys that you mentioned, Omega, Okada, Naito, that it makes the first half of the shows that are, to me, the 27-man tags are unwatchable, but I'll settle for them and sit through that just to get to the second half of the shows. Accessibility is really strong between Access TV. Isn't in as many homes as they could be, but between Access and New Japan Network, accessibility to New Japan is better than it's ever been in the past. Expansion into the States is happening very wisely, I think. I think they're going the right way about it. And 2018 is going to be a really interesting year for them to see, are they going to come after WWE? Are they going to just try to peacefully coexist with them? Are they going to try to raid WWE for talent? Because that hasn't happened, ever. Is the talent going to be stable in both groups? And how will WWE answer as far as, will they, try to run shows in the same markets and try to run shows the same night as big New Japan shows? So, and will New Japan, a fully Japanese company, have the possibility of becoming the number 2 promotion in the United States, just simply because there is no number 2 promotion in the United States? They're obviously a distant behind WWE now as far as worldwide, but can they possibly take that number 2 spot, which is ripe for the taking right now? So New Japan, definitely the number 1 promotion in the world today.
All right. Hey, I want to thank Lance for joining me. He is my co-host. He is pretty much the creation of this, the Cool Kids Countdown, but he joins me every other Thursday. Thank you, Lance, again for a great show. I want to thank everyone for listening. I know there's a lot of podcasts out there. I appreciate you listening. We'll be back here in 2 weeks for Cool Kids Countdown. This coming Tuesday, Shooting the Shiznit. That's right. This coming Tuesday, I got a big guest, a long time representative of fandom in wrestling. I mean, an oldie but goodie coming on. He'll hate me saying that, but we'll have him on Tuesday. You guys have a great week, and thank you for listening.
When I grow up, I want to make a pizza with the most cheese and the most pepperoni at the nation's best price. $6. It's going to be the best pizza ever.
Sorry, kid. It's been done. Introducing the new Little Caesars Extra Most Bestest Pizza. A large pizza with the most cheese and the most pepperoni at the nation's best price.
But my mom said...
Shh! This much cheese and pepperoni is what dreams are made of. Come get a large hot and ready extra most bestest pizza for just $6 only at Little Caesars.